I've always wanted to, and I know that you have an interesting story about how you got into cricket, because I know that cricket wasn't your first sport that you ever played. Maybe we could start with talking to you about how you got into cricket and where did you start?
Interesting story. So I grew up playing soccer, and then I was a sophomore in high school when COVID hit. So 2020, I was almost done with my year. In that same February in 2020, the Women's T20 World Cup in Australia was happening. And my dad was like, hey, Katy Perry's performing. Do you want to watch Katy Perry? Not about the cricket. Nothing about cricket actually came up. But he was like, Katy Perry's performing and I know you like her. You should watch. So I ended up watching. It was her opening act for the entire tournament. And then somehow 10 minutes went by, 20 minutes went by, and I realized I was watching the game and I was intrigued by what was happening. And then I recognized one of the players. It was an India versus Australia game. Elise Perry. I've known her since she was playing soccer for Australia because USA, Australia, they'd play each other and I knew that as a soccer player. So I got into it then, and then I kept watching the games. I watched through the entire tournament. So very first game was India Australia, and then the finals was also India Australia, and I thought that was the coolest thing, and I just fell in love with just watching the sport then. And then my dad, I think someone sent him a post about USA Cricket. They're having a talent ID, and there's gonna be one in Seattle. And then this was right before all the lockdowns happened in March. So at that point, we were supposed to have something, I think July. So a few months later, not long after, we were supposed to have a talent ID camp. Like a whole big thing. And then COVID hit. And then everything shut down. And then everything was moved until August, October. Everything was postponed. And we weren't sure if anything was actually going to happen. So we called USA Cricket. We were like, hey, should we go to Dallas and go to the talent ID camp? Because is anyone even going to be in Seattle? Like, we haven't heard of anyone playing cricket in Seattle. So until, I think, October, my dad and I, we would go to the park. We went to Robbinswood Park in Bellevue, and we played every day, 3 to 4 hours, just throwing balls, hitting balls, doing whatever I wanted just to get better. So then that's how I started.